The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 677. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a speaker, a beauty business coach, the founder and lead artist of Sheila Bella Microblading, and also the host of the Pretty Rich podcast. And I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Sheila Bella. Sheila, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Thank you so much, Sheena, for having me. Yeah, you pretty much covered a lot of it. I find that I have a lot of trouble introducing myself to Uber drivers when they ask me, what do you do? And yeah, because it's a lot of different things. I'm a very creative person. So I find that when I introduce myself to people, I don't really want to list everything because it sounds so like pretentious and braggadocious. But then again, I should really own that I do a lot of things. I'm very multifaceted and I should be proud of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I agree, right? I mean, it just shows that people can be more than one thing. So I really love that you mentioned that. And Sheila, what's your cultural background?
I am Filipino. I was born in the Philippines and I immigrated here to the United States when I was 8 years old.
Thanks for sharing that. And Sheila, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I have several, but the one that I feel like runs through my blood, especially now being a mother, a business owner, a podcast host, and all of those things at 37 years old, is by Cara Alwill-Leyba of the Champagne Diet. She said, and this was years ago, and I just like held it close to my heart. She said, and there is the turning point where you become intimate with your intuition, where you realize other people's input can be valuable, but it is never vital, where you are no longer afraid to make the call and to have the final say to become the CEO of your own universe. I love that.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence to me is living life vibrantly, not being afraid of saying what you mean kindly, not being afraid of bright colors, not being afraid to own your truth. And I think self-confidence to me is resting your confidence on the fact that if you were authentic, that is all that matters. And honestly, confidence, like what is that? I struggle with it to this day. Just when I think I have a good grasp on it and I'm really confident now, I mean, I feel like it's a lifelong journey to become truly, truly confident. And that's why we have heaven, I believe, because that's when we perfect ourselves in that way.
Thanks for sharing that. It's okay. I have a podcast about confidence and I still don't even I still can't even figure out most of it sometimes.
I mean, I love that you discuss this because it is so nuanced and it's ever evolving. Like who you are on a daily basis changes. It's all about being able to introduce yourself to yourself as who you presently are on a daily basis. Because who I am today may be slightly different than who I was yesterday. And being okay with that, truly being okay with that.
I totally agree. Well, thanks again for sharing that great definition. And Sheila, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Before my discovery of self-confidence, I was very much in my head. I was more inward, actually. So I would say that I was more selfish. I think a lot of depressed people, myself included back then, my depression came because I had no purpose for others. Once I became more others-centered, I found my confidence, I found my value, my worth, and I became no longer depressed.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love how you mentioned being others-centered, right? Because when you have like a purpose that's bigger than yourself or that can fit everybody in, it really does give you that confidence because it's not just about you anymore. There's other people in it that want the same thing as you, that want something for the better. And no matter how many times people knock us down or, setbacks whatever roadblocks we go through, we just keep trekking because we know that it's not just about us. There's a bigger outcome out of this. And, the universe has our back, so everything will fall into place. And, because of your realizations of being other-centered, what's your life been like now?
Rich. And when I mean rich, I mean true wealth in every sense of the word, not just financial, but spiritual, emotional, and most of all, relational. I have a lot of relational wealth.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you'd give to her?
A tip, it's more like a pillar. So the one thing I would say for the person who's struggling with self-confidence is dragons hoard gold. I forgot who said that, but basically don't be afraid of doing hard things, because it is only in the suffering that we expand. And it's the unsexy truth about self-development and realizing your fullest potential. But the gold is where the dragons lay. It's in the unknown. It's in the scary things. So don't be afraid of suffering, because it expands you. It's all about how you show up to it, what you do with it.
Thanks for sharing that. And I totally agree. Sometimes we just got to do the hard stuff. We just got to push through it because, they say like the grass is greener on the other side. And it really is. We just have to realize we have that confidence to accomplish it, right? No matter how difficult it may be, we just know we are capable to do it. So I really love the tip that you mentioned. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out some of your work or your podcast, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Definitely. I love Instagram. It's my favorite. And just so you guys know, I answer to every single direct message, or I try to. And you can find me on Instagram as @real Sheila Bella. And also you can search for my podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. It's called Pretty Rich Podcast.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. To our listeners, if you want to connect with Sheila, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Sheila's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Sheila today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Sheila.
Thank you so much for having me, Sheena.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.